Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kingdom Discussions. As you guys know, I've been talking about starting this for so long now because God has laid it on my heart to exact healing in the kingdom when it comes to males and females. He created us to be unified, to come together, to have friendships, to also have successful relationships and marriages. So, we are going to spark it off with one of my favorite people, Zeus Luby.
Well, let me say that it's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you. I am beyond proud of you. Watching your journey, watching you evolve and grow in this space, it's really been amazing. It's been
Thank
a
you.
blessing to witness you grow in this space.
Thank you.
So, I'm Zeus Luby. I am executive director of a nonprofit organization that focuses on helping young people who have experienced a bit of legal trouble. But deeper than that, I am a man of God who loves my community. Family man, um, a dad, a father to a beautiful, soon to be 22-year-old young lady. What matters most to me are my relationships, the connections that I build with people. That is paramount, which is why I'm here today, because I appreciate our relationship, our connection, our bond.
I do as well. So, the reason I wanted you to be one of the first people to talk to my peoples is because I feel like every time we have conversations, you're always like, well, this is how men are. And like, then this is how I am. And it's really true because you're so like, it seems like you got some secret handbook from heaven as to how to be not only like a man, but just a decent human being. And it's just like this is the person that like even before I used to come to for advice, especially as to how to grow HBC, how to I just really admire like how you treat people and what you do. So like initially that's what drew me to you to be like, "Hey, I'm starting this thing, like can you help me?" Because I'm like that's how I want to be.
Now, listen, that is beyond flattering. That means the world to me coming from you because I think so highly of you, and I don't. I don't think we ever had that discussion. So that's my first time hearing that from you. I am extremely humbled by that. Thank you.
I think it was like 2022 and I was like, "All right, I need to start this thing." And then like we just happened to be around each other, I think, at that time. We kept getting cast in the same things. Like we never it was never like, "Oh, hey, I haven't seen you all. Let's hang out," or anything like that. We just kept getting cast in the same things,
Yeah,
being around each other. It just happened to be not a coincidence, obviously, because God knows what you need. But God's like, "Hello, can you please ask this person for help?" So I'm just like, "All right." Well, the first person that came to my mind was this man. So asked you, and you've been there ever since. So you've truly seen from the ground up.
yeah.
So yeah, I probably haven't told you that before, but
That
I
means
deeply
that.
admire you. You're a great person. Otherwise, I wouldn't trust you with my baby.
True, true. I'm really touched by that. Thank you for that.
That is why I really wanted you to come and speak into because I believe also part of your anointing is to speak into people and pour into them in a way that other people cannot or a way that they don't have people around them to do that for them. Like obviously that's what you serve as for the men around you and that's what I would desire you to serve as for the women that you'll be speaking into.
It means a lot to me that you trust me with your community. I know how deeply you care about this mission, what you've built, your baby, and your community. So this is a high honor, and it does speak volumes about the level of trust that you have for me, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, that's why I was like, aren't you excited for this? This is kind of a big deal.
Extremely excited. Extremely.
It's a huge deal to me.
It is. I mean, everything that you created with this is mind blowing.
Especially this past year, like, as you all know, we've been, like, on this crazy trajectory.
I mean, the amount of progress that you've made in a very short period of time is really incredible. It really is. It's a bit meteoric.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't really have words for it, except God told me this in the beginning, which makes it kinda hard to wait to see manifestation of, like, the fullness of something, and, like, all you have is the seed. Like, I just, like, vaguely remembering, like, showing you, like, I wrote everything out, like, I was like, "This is what I see, like, this is what it is." And you're like, "Yeah, this is great, like, I see it." And so I just, like, kept doing the things that I thought were required to make it what I seen it being, and I just feel like this year, it's like it's still in seed form to me because I see it as much bigger than it is already, but still, it's like, "Oh my goodness, I'm actually seeing, the reaping of what has been sown."
I mean, when you, it's so amazing when you allow God to order your steps and He gives you a vision for something and you build it according to His design, not according to what you think should be added. You don't tweak it, you don't modify it, you just do it the way God put it on you to do and put it in you to do. When you just follow the blueprint, it's
That's really
always
good.
amazing.
Do you feel similar about your
Definitely.
organization?
Because when I came into this organization 9 years ago, I was asked to develop a mentorship program. You know, initially I was intimidated by it. I was thinking to myself, I don't know how to develop a mentorship program, no formal training. And given the other players on the board, you got doctors, you got attorneys, you got judges, you got psychiatrists, you got pastors. And I was fairly young at the time. I was the youngest, one of the youngest people in the organization. So to be tasked with developing the most critical aspect of the organization, I didn't know if I could even bring value to the
Yeah.
situation. But what I decided many, many years ago is that if I knew that God opened the door,
Mhm.
I was going to walk through it no matter what I thought, felt. It didn't really matter. If He opened it, I would walk through it. And so that's what I did. And I just allowed Him to guide me through that process. And it has been incredible
It has been. You even said this year is gonna be really, really great.
to date. So the program has continually evolved over the years because each year I'm allowing God to guide me. Okay, what do you want me to add? How do you want me to modify it? What do you want me to tweak? And it's just gotten better and better and better.
It's awesome, it's amazing, and I think that women, at least in our community, are really concerned about the drastic number of women versus men who are striving for a purpose, like, desiring to have a close relationship with God, like, desiring really just more substantial things in life. And I think that you don't even maybe you don't even realize that you're part of this sort of movement God is doing in the earth right now, where He's rising up men of God to take head of their households, to like be the men they're supposed to be. Because there's so many women that are just like warring and praying for like their kingdom spouse and like for just healing in the area of relationships. And it just seems like you're part of that bigger picture, like a leader ahead of it. And like that's why you're favored. That's why when you take steps you move, because he's like, yeah, like you're the forefront. You're taking over territory.
Thank you for that vote of confidence and those words, those spiritual words. I always prefer to operate from a space of humility, but also knowing what God has put in me and on me, you know, to do what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
I'm very clear on the multitude of things that I'm here to accomplish. And I know that whatever is in me inherently is what He put in me. And it was put there for a reason.
Yeah.
So my internal compass has always guided me away from the norms, the male norms, the cultural norms.
Hmm. Plus, you have a praying mother.
Yes, my mother has been my spiritual guide, from the entirety of my journey, and she's helped me to nurture and cultivate my gifts as well. So definitely having that support and spiritual support over the years has been huge, and it has helped me to identify and fine tune. I've always wanted to lead my male peers and males that are older than me and much younger.
Yeah, age isn't really a factor.
It's not at all. I've gotten some horrific guidance and advice from my
Older men.
elders. I'm like, what are
This is
you
not.
talking about?
Yeah.
And and there's been some times when I always stand my ground. If they give me crazy advice, I'm like, "No, I'm good, thanks, but no thanks." And then they'll circle back and say, "Hey, well, listen, I'm sorry for telling you to do that." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I forgive you, but you got to tighten up. Please don't spread that any further."
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So thank you for those
Of
words.
course. Yeah, I feel like your whole life has been divinely orchestrated because it's not a coincidence that you're raised by a strong mother and then also are blessed with a beautiful daughter. Zeta is awesome and obviously well talented, obviously raised right and well. And I think that developed in you this like respect and awe for women that a lot of guys don't have because of also him cultivating that in you through the relationships you have with women in your life.
I agree. I think women are just the most miraculous beings in existence. And I think there's so many things that are so normalized and commonplace that the magic and of it is kind of lost. The ability to create life.
Yeah.
The thought of being able to and being willing to grow another human inside of you. Like it's just
Yeah, it's
too
wild.
common.
Right.
People forget how incredible that is.
Yeah.
That is as close to a godly act as there is on this planet.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Yeah.
And then what women have to go through physically, biologically, daily, weekly, monthly, annually. There is no comparison, male to female. There's no comparison. So women have to carry a load, they toil so that they can have this ability to create life. There's just so many more complications, but then there's so much more strength and resilience
Because of it,
that
yeah.
that women carry. So yeah, I mean, women are on the highest pedestal there can be for me,
And it's obvious.
and that's what matters most. I want that to be clear.
It's pretty clear if someone meets you, they're immediately like, this is a different person. Like, I haven't met
Thank you,
anyone like this.
thank you.
So the girls do have some questions for you. So I'm going to ask you some. Are you ready?
I most certainly am.
All right. Bree Simpson is asking, how do men know when a woman is the one? And do you even believe there's such a thing as being the one?
I think that I think the one is too simplified. I think that when you come across somebody, you meet somebody, you feel a spiritual connection, like a strong draw to them. And you have to understand what you're feeling. I think that takes some spiritual strengthening. You have to be in tuned because you don't want to mix up a spiritual connection with a physical connection, or an intellectual connection. It's a very specific connection when you feel somebody and you're spiritually connected. So I do believe that there's no one,
Mhm.
because even if you have a strong spiritual connection to a guy, a person,
Right.
um, that may not be the last person you're ever
Right.
with, because you have to You have to go through relationships so you can understand where your weaknesses are, where you need to grow, just like that other person needs to understand where they need to grow, because you don't want to meet because it's about timing. If you're not developed enough, you can meet this person that you could build a life with, but you're not ready or they're not ready, and then you could ruin it to a point where you guys could never get back together. So you got to let things happen in God's timing. So you look for that spiritual connection, and you have to understand how to discern those different connections.
So, did you answer how do you know she's the one? What would be the one to you?
So compatibility, different dimensions of compatibility, and that's not what most people are looking for. They're looking for like foundational connections, points of connection. Like, is there physical chemistry? Is there intellectual chemistry? Um, do I like, where they are from a socioeconomic standing? Kind of basic things. Do they make me laugh? Do I enjoy their sense of humor? What's their lifestyle like? All of that stuff is kind of surface. It's important, but it's surface. Yeah. So for me, I'm looking for a multitude of points of compatibility. I'm looking for that physical chemistry, intellectual chemistry. And then I'm going deeper, because as soon as I meet somebody, I'm connecting with them with intention. If we're at an event or a venue and we initially meet where we can't really have a deep discussion, we exchange information, then we schedule a meetup, grab coffee, grab something to eat, walk in the park, whatever the case may be. That's when I start to get to know them. Okay. Because my focus is not to just, get to know them to be physical with them. Right. My goal is to build something. And the only way you can build something with somebody is to get to know them. So I'm asking questions that help me understand, are we compatible? And from the earliest conversations. And some people are not as comfortable with being asked substantive conversations because they're not used to it.
Right.
And I can extend grace with that, give them some time to kind of warm up to being asked serious questions. But if there's resistance to that, and you're not allowing me to get to know you, then, we really can't grow from that point. So I'm looking for early on compatibility, different dimensions. Yeah, yeah. And spiritual compatibility, spiritual connection.
Mentally, emotionally, physically, visually. And you're assessing for that.
Yes.
Miss Elaine is asking, what are your expectations of a woman when you make the relationship official as a godly man? So there's expectations for a wife. Do you put the same expectations on a wife on the person you're dating officially? Or is there like levels?
Always levels. Uh, because you can't, when you're, getting to know somebody, that's one level. Right. And then when you guys just decide to start dating, to actually start building something, then that's another level. When you make the relationship official, you say, all right, we're going to build this relationship. Right. And work towards a future. That's another level. And then, of course, marriage is the ultimate. So you want to make sure, the way I operate, I make sure that there's a distinction for each level. Okay. There's clear certain things that I'm not willing to do, certain things I'm not willing to engage in, certain experiences we can't have together because this is reserved for this level. Because I'm not going to give somebody I'm dating what I would give to my wife. How is my wife going to
Right.
know she's special?
What makes it sacred?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you have to have it compartmentalized. My expectations are for them to be open,
Okay.
honest. Communication is prime, whatever way it goes. And so we're getting to know each other. So they have to be open as well, transparent. They have to be willing to allow me to get to know them. So, really nothing should be off limits, because I don't want to find out about something deep and
Yeah,
heavy
exactly.
after we're in a relationship.
Yeah.
You got to tell me up front so I can determine, all right, is this something I'm capable of dealing with? Is this something I'm willing to deal with? So when I'm dating, that person has to be open. The communication has to be high level. They have to be transparent. They have to be vulnerable.
Exclusive.
Yeah,
I mean, you have
exclusive.
to say that nowadays because
Yeah,
people are
definitely.
wild.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's completely different than someone who's like capable of courting. That's completely different.
So then again, that's compatibility. So you have to understand what is your idea of dating, what's my idea of dating,
Mhm.
because it's different for different people.
Right.
Some people feel like when you're dating, you can still see other people, spend time with other people, get to know multiple people at the same time. Other people see dating as, a light courting phase where you're only focused on one person. If we're on the same page, then we can get into substantive questions, transparency, openness, vulnerability, and
I think
exclusivity.
that counts for the world more because, like, as a godly woman, like, you don't necessarily meet someone who has the potential to court you or to be serious with you at the degree you're trying to be serious. Like, as a godly woman who's genuinely seeking after God, like, you've been abstinent. You're not out here just like talking because the majority of people that just want to talk are really just looking for, you know. So it's like you're meeting someone and then I feel like courting would be the better term for godly people. And I think women who are genuinely in that space with God are expecting that because it's like exclusivity, that's not even like a question. It's just like, of course, like there's nobody else. We were just talking about this the other day. All of us are just like, I feel like women are preserved, like consecrated. And then like when they meet someone and obviously they've been praying, like God's like, okay, here's a green light or whatever. Then they begin to date that person or whatever, or get to know them, like open them up. But godly women are truly like hidden. Like men, when I have this conversation with men, they never like actually understand the concept. It's like they're like, but you're pretty and you're it's like, yeah, but I'm hit like no one sees you. It's true.
I do agree with that. And I think by and large, there are many more women in that space than there are men,
Right.
for a multitude of reasons. So it is more of a challenge to find somebody that's equally yoked in that space. And I think women have more, discipline when it comes to intimacy and across the board.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And because that's a huge factor. Managing your desires in that space is a huge factor, and men oftentimes fail.
How do men of God, do they value it? How do you see
Well,
pursuing purity and abstinence?
of course, a true man of God values those things. Again, that's a huge struggle for men. For me, discipline is at the root of that. The
Self-control.
spiritual discipline, which leads to physical discipline, discipline when it comes to intimacy. And it takes, you have to practice discipline on a regular basis
How do you do that?
by taking every opportunity. You don't wait until you have to do something. You do things on your own. So just to
Yeah.
make sure that I'm in control of that aspect of my life,
It keeps your mind clear. Yeah.
it helps you to focus. But you take every opportunity, many opportunities like physical discipline, taking care of my vessel, this vessel that was given to me to do God's works. So you take opportunities to train yourself in the space of discipline. As a godly man, you don't want to wait until there's a responsibility to learn discipline. You exhibit that on your own
Yeah.
so that when there's a need for it, you already have it in exceptional supply. So you don't start practicing, all right, okay, so I'm gonna learn how to be disciplined with my intimacy now that I'm in a relationship. Too late.
Yeah. Because then you're going to fall every time. It's going to get you every time. You got to practice in your singleness because then, and learn to value it.
What qualities are necessary for a healthy relationship? You begin to, as a godly man, you develop those qualities long before you get into the relationship. And that's how you adhere to the standards that a godly man should adhere to.
Right.
Because if you can't adhere to those standards, You are trying to be a godly man.
So, what's your advice to men who are attempting to get to that place where they are starting to see the value of it? They want to wait for marriage. They want to wait for their wife.
My advice is for them to assess. And if they can't do it on their own, they get with somebody who can help them identify what qualities and attributes are absolutely essential for a godly man to be godly. Not
Yeah.
trying to be godly, but godly.
So like accountability.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so you understand those attributes and qualities and you begin to develop them before you pull somebody into your life and do harm.
Right.
And so that's being selfless, not selfish. Because a lot of selfish people see somebody they want and they're like fear of missing out, that FOMO, like, I gotta grab her now. Let me just grab her and then I'm gonna work on myself while I got her because I don't want to miss out. That's selfish. If you know you're not ready, don't don't do that. Let that woman pass. Be selfless. Work on yourself, and then when you know you're ready, then you can approach that woman. If she's not there, then she wasn't for you.
Period.
Yeah. So that's my advice. Work on yourself.
That's good. Tamar asked the second question. How do you see a wife partnering with you as you walk in your God-given purpose? Like in your future, how do you see your wife walking with you in your purpose?
That I see my wife being, see us supporting each other's missions, our purposes. Because the woman that I end up with, she has to understand her purpose. Most people do not.
If you have your purpose, you almost can't imagine life with someone else who
Exactly.
doesn't get it because
Exactly.
it's just set up for,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you're essentially aimless. You can do great things, you can accomplish a lot, but if you're not walking in your purpose, then you're not where God wants you to be. And in order for me to build a future with a woman, she has to understand her purpose and be operating in that purpose. And so when we come together, we will support each other in our respective purposes. And it'll flow. It won't be a situation where her purpose is overshadowing mine, mine is overshadowing hers. There's no jealousy, there's no
Right.
competition. I will be on my mission and she'll support me on my mission and I'll have her involved in some capacity
Mhm.
and vice versa.
Right.
So we will build each other up. We will be able to be there and support each other because when you're in your purpose, when you're operating in your purpose, it can be taxing. It subtracts a lot from you. And so having somebody who understands what you're going through and you understanding what they're going through and you can pour into each other, there's nothing better than that.
Would that be a deal breaker for you? A woman not knowing,
For purpose. Of, definitely.
like you would just not even really entertain it.
Well, we would never get that far. Even if there's spiritual compatibility and there's intellectual and we're compatible in a lot of ways, that's a huge portion
Yeah.
because somebody who doesn't know their purpose is never going to really
Understand you.
correct,
Yeah.
and they won't maximize their potential. There's certain dimensions of their ceiling is a little bit lower when it comes
Yeah.
to happiness and fulfillment.
Yeah. We don't really get
And
it
I
until
can't
you
even
walk in it. You can't express it. Yeah.
right.
Do you believe that God intentionally makes sure that a man or woman has purpose before he leads them to a viable partner? Because,
Personal work.
Adam was he was given his jobs, his task to name the animals, right? He gave him dominion. He told him the rules. And then he was like, it's not good for man to be alone. And he's like, there's there's all these things here, but none of these things are the partner making that suitable for you. So then he puts Adam to sleep and then takes his rib and then makes Eve. And he's like, this is your helper. Like I made this woman for you. So in the Bible, in the order of things, technically he gave Adam his work and purpose first and then let the woman in.
Yeah, I, I firmly believe that because many times your purpose can take you. miles and miles away from where you thought your life,
Right.
where your life was, what you were doing for a living, where you lived, how you were dressing, how you would eat. It can change everything when you find your purpose. It can have you in a completely different headspace. You can look different, talk different, think different.
Yeah.
So if you're with somebody and you've built this life with somebody, and then your purpose, you find your purpose, that relationship may end because you're a completely different person
Yeah,
now.
it completely changed. I mean, completely,
Yeah.
completely put you in a whole different lane. So now that we're talking about the Bible, because I love it. And so I study this because I like to look up the Hebrew words of things. But the Bible all throughout says, like, we have favor, like we're favored in life. But the word for the verse that says a man who finds a wife obtains favor from the Lord is a different version of favor. It's like a higher level of favor when a man finds a wife. What are your thoughts on that? What do you think that looks like?
Again, much like what I mentioned earlier with, me understanding my purpose, operating in my purpose, that purpose, it, you carry a lot of weight with that. And finding a companion, a wife to walk with me alongside me on that journey to help restore me, help me rejuvenate something that an individual that I can look forward to coming home to, that I
Right.
can escape the world to. Even talking on the phone with, even if we can't see each other, that is my comfort, my healing, my recovery, my safe space.
Right.
So that is a completely different level of blessing, completely different dimension. Again, because that nurturing spirit, that healing ability through word or touch or interaction, conversation, uh, that is that's incredible. There's nothing like it. There's nothing comparable to it. I mean, even as a parent, you get a certain dimension of love from your child, certain comfort, certain peace, and there's some healing there. But to have this person who also understands their purpose, so they're operating at their maximum capacity,
Right.
like they're maximizing their potential, so their abilities are on a completely different level, and that level of compatibility is second to none. So that's what it looks like to me, to have that person who completely understands your life's journey, what you're dealing with on a daily basis, and they can speak directly to that and help restore you from day to day. That's incredible. What do the attributes of a godly man look like to you?
One of my favorite verses is the verse that talks about what love is. And there's been many a TikTok that talk about this, but I agree with it wholeheartedly. And it says if you can't replace the word love with the person's name, then they're probably not for you. But it's love is patient, love is kind, love is not self seeking, love does not keep a record of wrongs. I think that's a great verse to look at for traits. There's more, but there's a lot of traits in there where you can immediately recognize, like, oh, this person doesn't have that. Like, the person's not patient. Like, I feel like a lot of us women are coming out of like survival mode. A lot of us are kind of masculine, especially if you've been alone for a long time. So a man who is patient with you as you're, like, obviously as God softens your heart, you're willing to learn. Like, you genuinely want to be submissive to your husband one day. But it's like you have these knee-jerk reactions and like defenses that you put up, like guards, because of what you've been through. And as God is like restoring you, like, I see very much how love is patient resonates with a woman so deeply, and why it's important for it to be an attribute, because a lot of us desire to be a wife, but a lot of us will need to submit to our husband's teaching. And that also goes on the man. The man has to be a safe space for me to learn to be that. Like, you're cultivating your wife when you're dating. You're literally cultivating what it will be in the future. So a woman can't become what you need her to be unless you're patient with her. And love is patient. So hugely from that's a huge one. It's because like you do have this desire, but you also have trauma. And you also have things where your body just has held on to things and you're learning in real time how to, oh, I don't have to always react that way. Oh, I don't have to guard myself against him. Like nothing triggers you more than like a secure man, especially when you're coming from that space because you're just like, oh, I don't have to defend myself against him. Oh, I don't have to be that way with him. So it's like you're constantly correcting yourself in a space of someone who exhibits these godly attributes. That's just a major one for me.
Very, very detailed response. I'm in agreement with all of that. I think that it's a necessity for men to create that safe space. And
And be patient about it. It's like a woman, you don't know what a woman's coming out of to then be in relationship with you, and there's a reason she's been alone or a reason she's been set aside. And even if God is the one who had her alone, it's like she has to learn to be with another person. Like if you become like an island. Like I say that to you all the time. Like feel like you're like an island. It's like you become like self-sufficient because you have to be. Like I don't have a man there pumping my gas at the gas station, so I gotta look over my shoulder. Like just little stuff like that, you know. Like I'm protecting myself. I have to, especially if you like live alone or like you have to. All you have is you. So when you get into a relationship with like a godly man, you're learning like, oh, like I don't have to protect me. Like he will protect me. And then it's learning to trust that he will. But a man has to be steady and constant in that so that you're like, okay, he's true to his word. Like he does do what he says he's gonna do. Like I can depend on him to be here like this. Oh, he doesn't talk to me crazy like my ex did or whatever. Like so, you're constantly like softening and softening and softening, like in that process.
I agree. I agree. And that is key. From my youngest years, I can remember, men and young guys, when a young lady, woman, may act a certain way, the first response is, "Ah, she's crazy," or whatever other derogatory terms
You
they
don't
may
know what she's
use.
been through.
And my mindset has always been, I've always said, instead of, calling her a name or judging her, why don't you try to figure out what happened, what led her to
Right.
be there? What did she go through to land her in that position? Because it's probably a guy, whether
Yeah.
it's her father, her uncle, or
It
somebody
starts
she
early,
dated,
yeah.
or a sibling. There's so many terrible things that befall women from the youngest years when a woman is in a particular space where they have an acute response. My thought is always, what happened?
Yeah, like even like being touched, like a hug, or you're just like, oh wait, it's safe to be hugged. Like it's safe to be this is a safe touch. There's so much that goes into it, like as a girl.
You
So a
have to give
guy
women
must
time.
be that he has to be sturdy
Yeah.
to hold that because you will literally unlock like all of us have it in us. We're multipliers, we're helpers, we're nurturers, like we're directly tuned into God. Like we're literally made to increase the favor on your life. Like we're hugely valuable to a man. But I think that a lot of men aren't willing to bring that out of a woman because it takes time.
Right. And then
No. But you reap the reward of it at the end of the day, but everybody wants, like, "Submit to me," and it's like, I'm not following you when I've led myself to this successful place. I'm not following you without knowing where you're leading me to. Like, I'm not gonna just immediately submit to you. Like, where are you going? Uh, can I trust you? Like, there's things that go into the process of becoming the order of what the Bible says a wife is.
correct. Agreed, agreed. And men, they figure if they show themselves to be kind and nice and trustworthy, they should, the woman should open up immediately. But that's not the case. That's the selfish response because they're
Yeah.
focused on what they want and when they want it, rather than the selfless approach, which is take into consideration why the guards are up, and give her time. Just give her time. If it's too long for you, then you can step away, but don't don't make it seem like the woman's doing wrong because she didn't open up as quickly as you wanted her to.
Right.
But there has to be selfless patience because women go through way more than men go.
Completely, yeah. Um, we need protection. That's what we're made for. We need you.
Stronger in many.
Yeah, of course, but we are strong where you're not, and vice versa. So we need you. So when we're separate from it, we're vulnerable to attack.
So I want to ask you another question. All right. So, what are your love languages, and how do you give and receive love? That is a question from Miss Elaine.
My love languages that I receive love through are wait, first let's name them. Gifts, acts of service, words of affirmation, physical touch,
Okay.
and time, quality time.
Quality time. Okay.
Mine is quality time and words of affirmation. I think quality time is my biggest one because I took a quiz once, and the second one is um, words of affirmation. I think because time is so valuable to me, when someone gives me theirs, I feel really special. Like, and not like it doesn't have to be in person, like a call or a text, like, hey, I'm thinking of you or whatever. Just like dedicating an amount of time just for me makes me feel really loved. Time, huge. Um, and then words of affirmation. Um, I'm the girl that like rereads text messages and it's just like, oh my God, that was so cute. Like, that was so sweet. I just love being able to understand how a person feels about me because I'm very vocal and like I'm able to like just fully, like, I'm not really shy. You obviously know that. So I love to express how I feel about another person, but when someone expresses how they feel about me, I'm just like, especially if it's like harder for them or like if it's something they don't normally do, like just seeing how a person feels about me, like a letter, like a handwritten letter, text, whatever, that kind of stuff, that's really important. But quality time is number one. Like, time is how I feel loved. um I think my very last one is gifts, because I think I don't necessarily like, flowers are cool and all that, but I'd rather us just like do nothing and sit together. Like, you don't have to like be paying attention to me. Like, we could both be doing our separate things. And like, I just need time dedicated to me. But gifts is pretty low. I just feel like that's easy. I mean, sending flowers with a letter, that kind of like sinks my love languages though, because that took time. Like, if it comes with that, cool. But if it's just like, oh, here's some shoes or a bag, it's like, I'd rather us have spent the day shopping together than someone to be like, here.
Okay. All right. Well, how do you show love? How do you give love?
Definitely acts of service. And words of affirmation. I also love to give gifts. It makes no sense at all. But I love to give gifts. My way of showing love is making someone else's life easier. Like, I want to show that I'm paying attention and then sort of insert myself where they have an inconvenience, or where I could just like speed up their day or give knowledge or whatever. Like, mine is definitely like, I think that's acts of service. Is it? And I also am very expressive with how I feel. But I think also physical touch would be tied with expressing. I do a lot of touching because I don't like to touch or be touched. If I touch you or I let you touch me, it's a huge deal. Yeah, I hate being touched. I hate it. I don't like hugging people. Yeah, I don't. My girls, obviously, because I care about them. Like when they see me, like I'm like, oh my God, I love you
Did you
because I
guys
love
know
them.
that?
But I hate being touched. My mom is always like, she can tell when I like someone because I let them touch me, or I like not like sexually or anything. Just literally, I hate being touched. It makes me really uncomfortable.
I'm learning a lot today.
You are probably too much.
No.
I hate. It makes me cringe.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't like being touched. I there's a level of safety I need to feel to be touched. Probably need more therapy to pinpoint where that comes from, but I really feel uncomfortable being touched. I don't like to touch people unnecessarily. Like people who know me, who I'm comfortable with, they're like, "Oh, like she never shuts up, like she talks." But like at work, people are like, "You come in, you don't say nothing to nobody. You just come in, mind your bit." Like that too, like expressing myself and talking. That's another huge one. So I guess I'm capable of all the I think I give in all the ways, but the biggest one is definitely quality time to me is second nature. If I like you, I'm going to be with you, obviously. But words of affirmation, expressing myself, like fully expressing myself and like making your life easier. Acts of service, like I'm going to insert myself and make your day better in some way in your life. So, like obviously day by day, but like I love making someone's life better. Like I love making them smile in ways that make their life more convenient.
That's beautiful. Okay. All right.
And yours?
So, all of them. All of them.
Wait, all of them on both sides.
Yeah, all of them.
What do you like to do most for someone you care for?
That's contingent upon the person. I cater to that individual.
What makes you feel really special? Like what makes you feel really loved?
Mm, it's all the above. It's a combination of all the things.
You need to be specific. That's not fair. I had to answer in detail.
Well, so it, as you say, like with the gifts, it's not about just buying something. That's simplistic and basic. It's about the
Thoughtfulness.
effort and the time, the thought that's put into it. You know, that's how I raised Zeta, to put a lot of thought into her gifts, not just to go buy something that somebody said they wanted, but put some thought into it. So over the years, she would make me these suit because she's a phenomenal artist.
Right.
She would spend hours and hours, sometimes days, making these incredibly creative, artistic cards for me.
Oh, that's so
And,
sweet.
I have them all collected. So that means the world to me because of the thought that was put into it, the effort.
Like if the person just never expressed that love language, you wouldn't care because it doesn't mean
No, because if that person learns me, then that person will understand that all five are essential for
so his answer is all of the above. He wanted everything.
above. Don't come with limitations. You know,
I think we all need them all to some degree.
it's from person to person. I need all of them, but that's absolutely
Gotcha.
necessary. So the gifts, a lot of thought put into it, effort, where I can see that quality time for sure. I definitely, as I said when we talked about purpose earlier, where I want to come home to that person. I
Right.
want us to be together so I can decompress and they can decompress. I want to be there for them as they are there for me.
Right.
Acts of service, you know, uh, I love doing things for the person I'm with, like, cooking them for them their favorite meal, running a bath, learning their nuances so I can see. I don't want them to have to tell me, I need this, I need that. I want to understand the need and feel the need without them ever having to say anything.
Not
And
you
I
being
want some,
romantic. That's so sweet.
I'm incredibly romantic, hopeless romantic. I love doing really detailed. It might take me weeks to put something together for somebody because I really want it to be special.
Yeah.
So I want somebody that's willing to put that same kind of thought.
Exactly.
I don't want to have to say, "Hey, I need this. Hey, I need that." I want you to learn me so
Exactly.
that you can feel that need.
Yeah.
Um, and then words of affirmation, of course, the encouragement, the support. Again, when you're operating in your your purpose. I think that everybody's purpose is connected to helping others in some way, shape, form, or fashion. That's what we're here for,
Hmm.
to help our fellow man. So, but again, that takes a lot out of you. So I've been in a relationship where I'm pouring into other people daily, and then the person I'm with is not, there's no recognition of that. It's not a big deal because where
They don't
they were
understand.
at, the way they were raised is just do the work.
And
Don't
then,
look for any
yeah,
encouragement. Just be quiet and do the work. No, no. If you pour into other people, I want to encourage you and tell you how proud of you I am, and I appreciate you for doing that. And I want you to do the same for me. I don't want you to be like, so what? That's what you're supposed to do. Get out of here. And that's kind of like the mindset that was had. So, some people, there's a lot of, people just don't spend enough time learning who they're dealing with. Like you should want to learn that person head to toe, front to back, inside and out.
yeah,
Everything you can learn about them. You should be thirsty to learn about
exactly.
them because,
I mean, I don't want it if it's not that.
right,
It's
exactly.
boring.
Because it's going to take you a long time to really learn everything about a person because nobody is going to think of all the things they need to tell
Right.
you in one
You got to
conversation.
be in situations too to see how people
Exactly.
respond,
A lot
like
of
things
things are
that come up.
situational. So you have to be in a constant state of, I want to learn you so that you can absorb the information. Because you don't want somebody to have to tell you the same thing over and over and over again. I already told you that. Did you? Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay, okay, okay. All right, I got you.
Gifts, time, words of affirmation, acts of service, physical touch.
Physical touch, yeah, definitely.
Does that matter to you?
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm a very affectionate person.
High is physical touch for you.
It's near the top. It's near the
What does it
top.
mean? Like, what is it?
It's when you have a multi-dimensional all around connection with somebody like that, comfort of physical contact, and not even talking about intimacy, but just the comfort of having contact with that person is soothing, it's healing, it's restorative when the connection is right.
Yeah, facts.
So, it's very healing. So that's important to me. And
And you said your wife would be restorative to you, so that makes sense.
I'm very selective with who I allow to make certain contact with me. Like getting massages and stuff, like that's kind of strange.
All right, ask the last question.
Okay. Is it okay to talk about sexual preferences before marriage? Is that important? That's also from Miss Elaine.
You go first.
Ladies first.
No, you go first.
Godly women should always go first.
Um, Sex is very important, and I think that that is something that God blesses. I actually pray for my sex life in my marriage. So I think that having conversation about it isn't necessarily sinful. I mean, we're adults. I think we can talk about it. I think if it leads to like temptation, then that's where we're kind of toeing the line. But when it comes to compatibility, I think there are some things that should be covered because there's a lot of things that you don't want to be like. It's like, okay, so if you're abstinent, like you get married on your wedding day and you're like, yo, I think being abstinent requires conversation. Because if you're not you haven't experienced this person that way, then I think there has to be some level of transparency as far as sexual expectation, or it's not gonna.
I agree. I listen. I think those conversations are absolutely necessary because you want to understand the person's sexual desires, sexual fantasies, sexual proclivities, and having a conversation, an honest, open conversation about what a person wants sexually. You gotta understand that again. That's another point of compatibility, and that's a huge point of compatibility. You don't want something to come out of the blue after you get married and you're building a life, and this person is like, "Hey, listen, can you
We're gonna wear costumes and cosplay anime characters.
Furries,
Pokemon, yeah.
anime characters.
Like,
Listen,
yo, she got it in the car, like, after the reception.
it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff out here, and so you have to understand what a person wants because they may be able to sideline it initially, like first couple years, and they're like, "All right, I think we've been married for like
Yo, where did this come from?
years, so hey, you you wanna try this?" And you're like,
Where did this come from? You could have told me.
"Right."
Is this something that men fear
Fear
by
expressing
being absent, waiting till marriage? Do you fear this?
fear being sexually incompatible.
Do you fear being disappointed?
No,
Not even a little bit.
that's more of a fear for a woman. That would be more of a fear on you all's end because there's more dynamics. Not afraid at all.
I'm not afraid at all.
No, I'm saying that. So,
Personally.
from your conversations, do you find that a lot of women are fearful
We don't really
of being?
talk about this. This is really interesting. But now that I think like being asked that, I'm not afraid at all. Like I said, I so you know the book I wrote? There's a full chapter in there praying for my marriage and sex in my marriage.
Mm,
So not praying for sex, but praying that our sex life is blessed, that we are able to wait for each other, that we're compatible, that I don't have to worry about, oh, I waited all this time and now it's terrible or whatever. Like I just all of it is covered in there. But I think that because I've included it, God gives me the desires of my heart. So exceedingly and abundantly. Okay. So I'm not concerned.
so
Plus, like,
yeah, there's no concern for like a properly godly man would not be concerned about that.
because he's praying about it.
Yeah, because that should be incorporated in that. There should be a
So
conversation
how do you approach the conversation?
with a woman about that.
They're dating.
So you it's very straightforward. You ask about sexual preferences. What are your likes? What are your dislikes? What are your non-starters? And what are your fantasies? What have you explored? What would you like to explore? You know, and then you have a conversation about long-term intimacy because when you're with somebody for decades, that opens you up to being more exploratory, more open to trying things. You also have to talk about sexual trauma because, again,
Yeah, it could hinder and also be triggered and a whole bunch of things. So
exactly, because you have to have that discussion to see if there is sexual trauma. And that's present with a lot of women, especially men too. So you have to have that conversation, before you go into that space to understand, okay, are there any sexual traumas? If so, what are they?
yeah,
And that person has to address those issues because those issues can destroy a sexual relationship.
absolutely. Yeah, they just have a lot of shame and stuff behind it. Good answer.
Thank you.
Welcome. Mine was good too.
It was fantastic.
Thank you.
Better than good.
Um, yeah, I think this was productive. So thank you for this.
My pleasure.
This is
Absolutely.
very much a blessing to my community and to anyone who listens.
Well, that means a lot to me. You are a blessing. You really are.
I appreciate that.
I appreciate you allowing God to order your steps and building this community. This is necessary. And thank you for having me.
Of course, you have to come back.
I would love to.
You will. See you then. Oh, also, don't forget to submit your questions. We will answer your questions and make sure that we do so in a clean and professional manner. Don't forget to follow her promise circle. Follow Zeus at Zeus Luby. Is there any? Zeus Luby on Instagram. Check out his organization. Obviously, doing really dope things. His greatest year yet. Shout him out. All right. See you next time.